Hello, Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising. Welcome to my channel. It is such a blessing to be here with you, so thank you for being here with me for your February 2024 recap. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to connect with you. In the description box below, you will find links to information on personal readings, the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram, and ways to support the work I do here if you would like to explore any of those options. You will also find a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. Please do keep in mind this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so use your discernment and take only what resonates with you. If you find that something shared does resonate, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, comment below, or share this content as it tells YouTube that there may be something valuable here for someone else, which is a gift to both this channel and to others as well, and I greatly appreciate that support. The month of February brought for us the meeting of Chiron and the North Node, inspiring us to recognize and accept our wounds and activate our own healing. We were encouraged to forge a new path forward, utilizing the wisdom, knowledge, and intuitive truths we've gained to align with our higher calling. So for this recap, we are going to be looking at your overall energy, what realizations or epiphanies February brought forward for you, how this will impact your journey moving forward, and getting some messages or advice to best support and serve you moving forward. So Aries, let's see what was going on for you. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Christ, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us please about the overall energy of February 2024 for Aries. Thank you. Tell us, please, what realizations or epiphanies did February 2024 bring for Aries? Thank you. Tell us, please, how will this impact Aries' journey moving forward? Thank you. And what messages or advice will best support and serve Aries moving forward? Thank you. All right. What else do we need to know, please, about the overall energy of February 2024 for Aries? Thank you. What else do we need to know? All right. Thank you. I feel like those as well. What else do we need to know, please, about how this will impact Aries? Thank you. And what other messages will best support and serve Aries moving forward, please? Thank you. Okay, anything else we need to know, please? 4:44 on the timer. Anything else we need to know, please, about the overall energy of February 2024 for Aries? Anything else we need to know, please, about the realizations? Thank you. Anything else we need to know, please, about how? Okay, thank you. I feel like that one as well. And any other messages or advice to best support and serve Aries moving forward, please. Thank you. Okay, Aries, the overall energy of February 2024. We do have here the law of truth. Love unconditionally and create healthy boundaries. You know, it's really interesting, Aries, because in previous readings that I've done for you, there has been this energy of boundaries coming through. And I feel like for some of you, you have been learning that you can have boundaries and still love unconditionally. I feel as though for many of you, perhaps in the past, you've had this kind of belief system that if you love someone, it means that you have to kind of cater to them, that you kind of have to, you know, appease them or, you know, make them happy. And I feel like more and more as you move forward, actually what you're realizing is that there is almost a need for balance, right? I feel like you're also realizing that because you love someone doesn't mean that you have to do everything according to their will or to their desires. I feel as though the month of February for you has really honestly opened up some doors and really allowed you to see through some illusions, through some confusion. It's really brought some sense of clarity, some sense of understanding about the importance of having boundaries. Also recognizing love as unconditional, right? That you can love someone without appeasing their every desire, without, you know, sacrificing your own wants, your own needs, you know, or going against things that you simply don't agree with or don't align with, right? So I feel as though for you, there's been this, like I'm seeing it almost like a circling, or maybe things have come full circle, or like a stirring of some kind where, you know, it's putting truth before all else. So, you know, I can love you and still do what it, or and still can align with my own truth, right? It feels like putting your own truth forward. And again, this is energy that I have seen come through for you in past tarot scopes. So I love this because I feel like aligning with this, right? You can see here on this card, there's a closed door and there's even like a lock on it. I feel like for you, this door has opened to something new, right? For whatever reason, it feels like you were being met with that door or coming face to face with that door because there was a denial, or something, or disregarding your own truth in some way, shape, or form. And it feels to me that the overall energy was really bringing through this encouragement for you to have these boundaries, and again, to pursue things that feel true for you, that feel aligned with you, and still being able to love others without having to appease their every desire. Yes, this is beautiful, Aries. You also have the law of power. Remember the truth of who you are. And I feel like this is exactly what's been taking place. Because I feel like, in aligning with this truth, with your truths, you know, moment by moment, day by day, I feel like it's really started to empower you, because I feel like for many of you, this whole kind of catering to other people's needs or demands or belief systems or paradigms or whatever it is was really draining on you. And again, I feel I'm almost certain that this has come up for you in the past. And so I feel the month of February was really trying to empower you in your own being, in your own truth. And I feel like it's brought forward, again, these realizations about yourself, about your relationships, about the world around you. And I feel for some of you, you may have found yourself, if you look at the card here, she's almost like turning her back, or, you know, in the process of turning her back so you would see her back. And I feel like for some of you, you have actually decided to turn away from some of these situations, people, environments, whatever it is, that you did not feel were true for you, that did not empower you, that did not make you feel comfortable in your own skin. Because I do feel that for some of you in the past, you were likely betraying yourself or dishonoring yourself for the sake of others, for the sake of being accepted, or, to gain approval, or to prevent rejection or abandonment. And I feel like you now may be in this place where it's like, this is who I am, this is what it is. And if you're not willing to support that and respect that, then I really don't feel like this is the place for me. We have here, metamorphosis, death, rebirth, 8th house. I absolutely feel as though this has been a transformative month for you, especially if you are aligning with the things that I've been saying thus far, or perhaps even previously watched other Tarotscopes, right? Maybe for January or even December. I'm not exactly sure where this information came through at, but I do feel as though, again, there's this, it feels very much like moving from one way of being to another, in a pretty dramatic or drastic way. It does feel as though there is a connection here to gaining this sense of power within yourself, or confidence within yourself, through this death and rebirth process. And I do feel like for some of you, this is something that I don't feel like it was easy. And I mean, when is transformation or evolution ever easy, right? But I feel as though there's, thank you. There's this whole kind of, the truth will set you free. And I feel like this is probably how it feels. For some of you, I feel like you may have felt caged, you may have felt imprisoned, you may have felt, claustrophobic or boxed in or suffocated in some kind of way. And it feels like aligning with these aspects of yourself, your truths, it feels as though there's been this room for you to kind of spread your wings, as it were. So I love that for you. You have here as well, series, self-care, wellness, agriculture. Absolutely. Right? This energy really is drawing that attention to taking care of you, to doing things that, again, feel true for you, that feel authentic, that feel natural, that really do essentially fill your cup, right? Anytime that we are engaged with things or people, situations that feel like a lie to us, that feel inauthentic, that feel just not true for us, it tends to feel very draining. And it can have these kind of negative repercussions. And I feel as though, all of this has really, again, transformed your perceptions or perspectives on taking care of yourself, really realizing how sitting in these energies that aren't really yours can have this impact on how you feel physically, how you feel energetically, your mood, right? Your emotions, these sorts of things. So it's really quite fascinating that, in the space of your overall energy for February, there's this self-care coming to the forefront. Again, I feel as though these are things that have come up in readings previous for you. So, I feel like there's this big focus on really taking care of yourself, really looking after yourself, really kind of stepping forward in that beautiful, natural leader, direct, brave, fearless Aries energy that you all have, right? Really, I'm getting this, like, not taking no for an answer, but it's interesting because I feel like it's coming from this, this is my truth, and you're not going to sway me from that. This is my boundary. You're not going to convince me to tear that down, or to, to disrespect myself or dishonor myself. So I think that's incredibly powerful for you. And, certainly the cards that have come out already have alluded to as much. right? We have for you as well the moon, which is really interesting because both of your cards here, the law of truth and law of power, both have the moon in them. Certainly in different phases, but nonetheless, it's there. And now here again, you have the moon showing up, right? Emotions, instincts, subconscious. So I do feel there is this confirmation of that, seeing through the illusions, really trusting your instincts, really trusting yourself, learning to do that. Maybe this is something that has been unfolding for some time now. And I also feel that it's, how do I say, there's something about not letting your emotions kind of rule the road, right? Or not letting your, especially when it comes to like fear, anger, um, hurt or sadness or pain, you know, I'm not saying that you're avoiding those things, but it feels as though you're not sinking into them. You're not, you know, becoming entrenched in them and allowing them, those emotions, to call the shots, right? I feel like there's kind of this energy of like, it is what it is, right? If like, this is my truth, it is what it is. These are my boundaries, it is what it is, right? And I love this. It's so incredibly powerful. I also feel like, you know, there's this instinct energy here, and I feel like for at least some of you, there's this, how would I say, this leaning toward, if you will, trusting and following your intuition more and more and more. Okay, because I feel like you may be recognizing, even if you don't necessarily realize that that's what it is fully. There's something here about recognizing that when you know, your gut tells you something and you don't listen to it, or you don't pay attention to it, or you ignore it or disregard it or whatever, that things just don't seem to work out very well. So, you know, again, I feel like there's this realization of, you know, just really aligning with your truth and trusting that and moving in that in a very powerful and confident way. I also feel that for those of you who maybe have an Aries moon, this message may resonate even stronger than perhaps if you are an Aries sun or rising. But it's for all three of those, so take what resonates. We have, yes, absolutely. We have here for you deep replenishment, retreat, rest, be held. And again, it is that energy of showing up for yourself, Aries. And I feel like you're doing this for some of you, maybe for the first time in your life, or perhaps for others of you, maybe this is something that you did once upon a time and maybe lost your way from or something, and have come back to this now, again with the moon here in the card for you. And I just cannot stress this enough. It keeps coming through my energy, you know, as I'm tapping in here for you, that there's this energy of looking after yourself, right? Taking time for yourself when you need it, resting when you need it, showing up for yourself. Now, whether you are a male or female doesn't matter, but there's an energy of being held in the sense of showing up for yourself, right? Really just holding yourself, making sure that you are also making you a priority. You know, even if you have family, even if you have a partner, you know, a job, whatever it is, I feel like there's more and more of this energy coming through of putting yourself first. Again, really making sure you are a priority, or that you are taking time to fill your cup, taking time alone to replenish, um, you know, because I feel like it's interesting. I'm getting this picture in my head of someone kind of crawling very slowly. And I feel like it may have felt that way for you. It may have felt like you were moving through life just like crawling on your hands and knees, like exhausted, fatigued, just really no oomph, no, you know what I'm saying? It feels very kind of just very drained. And I feel like this is something that you are now essentially paying attention to and are now standing on your feet. Okay. You have here as well Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. So what I what I think is really interesting about this for you Aries is that, you know, again with your intuition, right? I am getting some fear because I feel like there's things that have come through your intuition, and I feel like for some time maybe you were kind of holding off on creating some of these boundaries out of the fear of, you know, rejection or abandonment or whatever it is. And how do I say, but still I feel as though there's this almost this, I don't want to say nagging, but this very kind of adamant gut feeling is like, I just need to move away from this situation or this person or, you know, whatever this is, and need to trust. And I feel as though, again, I feel like this is where this is showing up from. I feel like it's not, yes, it is you, your higher self, you know, bringing this information through, but I also feel, you know, that it is that those helpers in the subtle realms, right? The angelic and spiritual hierarchies, God, Christ, whatever you want to, you know, whatever resonates with you, orchestrating all of this, right? Really showing you that when you trust yourself, when you follow your intuition, or you follow, you know, the nudges from God or source or universe, whatever, that things seem to go better. You find yourself feeling better. You know, and I got that energy of like a bird in a cage, right? That it's liberating for you to move with your truth, to flow with it versus resisting it. Some of you may have even started to, you know, pray or align with some sort of deity or what have you. But I feel like there's something here about some of you coming to the realization that you're not in this alone. That when you trust and follow those nudges or your intuition, again, that things just seem to work out better in some ways. I'm actually getting that some of you may have even had some kind of what, I don't know what we would call it, maybe some kind of like holy experience or some spiritual experience where it's almost like this aha or epiphany um of, you know, God moving in your life, source, universe, whatever you call it. I call it God. So, you know, God moving in your life and orchestrating things in your favor. Again, there's that whole kind of the truth will set you free, but there's, you know, the acknowledgement of like, but first it's going to hurt, right? So I feel as though there was like there could have been this hesitancy, but now I feel like you may be opening up more to connecting with, you know, the divine, and perhaps are even, I want to say, like enthusiastic or excited about having more of these spiritual experiences. Very interesting. So what realizations or epiphanies came through for you in February? The law of perfection. Choose to view life in all its glory. Yeah, there's a certain level of surrender here. And it's interesting too, because I feel like if you've resonated with what I've shared so far, I feel as though that it's almost like for some of you, you can see how the world reflects back to you where you are sitting within yourself, right? And I feel like the more you have trusted, the more you have, you know, sat in your own power, the more you've aligned with your truth and been your most authentic self, I feel like your view of the world has changed tremendously. Your reflection has changed tremendously. Your outlook on life has changed. as well. Now, certainly there's going to be varying degrees of that. It's going to look differently for everyone. But I feel as though there's this, oh, I don't have to live this way. Oh, I don't have to just accept this feeling as my fate, let's say. Again, there's this remembering who you are and really bringing forth this power from within you, and becoming the main character, if you will, or moving center stage of your own life. You also have here the law of neutrality. Practice non-reaction and staying in equanimity. Yeah, I feel as though, again, right, there's this whole kind of, I don't have to live this way, right? I don't have to engage with this negativity. I don't have to engage in the appeasement of others. I don't have to sacrifice myself, my truth, right? Like, I don't have to do all of these things, and I don't have to allow my emotions to rule over me. And even if I am experiencing challenges, hardships, obstacles, turbulence, conflict, whatever it is, I can choose how I move through life, how I view life, how I feel about it. So again, I just feel like this is so powerful for you, Aries. I feel as though you may feel, kind of, what is like as light as air, right? I just feel like there's this lightness about you that perhaps you have not yet experienced, or it's been a long time, right? I feel like previously it feels like things may have been very heavy for you, whether that be emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, all the way around, whatever it is. I just feel like there's this lightness about you now. So we do have here attraction, relationships, partnerships. Yeah, for some of you, this certainly could be certain relationships that you were a part of, or even in business, whatever it is. I feel as though I feel like you probably came face to face with some truths, which goes without saying, but about certain relationships, right? Where you were probably seeing where you were living for other people versus yourself, where you were giving and giving and giving and not getting back, or, where certain environments, or again, relationships were really bringing maybe out the worst in you, and I feel like getting over that fear of rejection, abandonment, or loss, or, whatever it is, I feel like you have really changed your perspectives on these things. And I feel like you're understanding the impact that relationships can really have over your life. For some of you, it's really interesting, and this may be for someone very specific, because this is not something that I would get frequently. But for some of you, I feel like maybe you had a conversation with a friend or a family member or someone, or God, I don't know, and it was like, this situation is not good for you. Like, do you realize how much you've changed? Do you realize how, you know, how much this has impacted you? Do you realize, how the effect that this is having on you? And for some of you, it's like, maybe, they said that, maybe you took some time to think about it or something, but it feels like the light bulb came on and it was like, oh, yeah, I might need to change that. And it's interesting because there is this fear here that I'm picking up around actually making that move if this resonates, but doing it anyways. And since then, feeling a lot better within yourself, your environment. Some of you may, this is pretty specific also. Some of you may have actually had someone move, or you moved to get away from to end something. And since moving away from that situation, that person, that job, whatever it is, there's this feeling again of lightness, of Like, even though I was so afraid of that, and perhaps even that, grieving that change, um, that loss, it still feels good. So that's really interesting. I feel like it's probably pretty surprising for those of you that resonate with this also. Another moon energy here, luminosity, intimacy, hyper awareness. Yeah, I feel like you're shining brighter than you ever have. Again, I feel like your reflection even may look very different to you. Um, Gosh, these are so specific. It's wild because I feel like some of you are looking in the mirror and like you're seeing brightness in your face where it once looked dull. Maybe you're smiling more, your eyes are lighting up or something like that. You're carrying yourself a lot different. It feels to me like however this unfolded for you in February, that a light was, you know, how do I say, things were illuminated to you, and it's like once you know, you can't unknow, and perhaps making certain moves or decisions according to that knowing. And now I feel like the result is, essentially you shining brighter. And I also feel like it has taken your awareness up a notch, right? Where again, you are paying attention to the people that you're spending time with, the environment you're in, the situations that you are engaging with, these sorts of things, because I feel like you recognize the impact that it has had on you, right? So it does feel like there's been a learning experience here for you. So I feel like you're taking away a lot of wisdom from however this is unfolded. Whatever, this death and rebirth has brought for you, this metamorphosis has brought for you. I feel like you're taking a lot of wisdom from that. And I feel like there's again this energy of there's no going back, right? Like, now that I know what I know, I can't unknow it. Or now that I've seen this, now that I'm aware of this, I can't just pretend like I haven't. So there's an energy of being much more conscious of your surroundings, as well as your own energies as well, right? Again, because there's that energy of wellness and boundaries and retreating and resting and these sorts of things. So I feel like it's not just that you are recognizing this in your external world, but also within yourself. You have here Nadir, origins, inner child. And you guys forgive me because I do not know how to say this right, so I actually had to write it down. So give me a moment to forgive me. So it's Imam Chali. Pardon me for that. Um, you know, so it's interesting with this card because I feel like some of these realizations, you guys, these are so specific, and this is not typical for me. So just forgive me. But I feel like for some of you, you may have had some kind of wounding or trauma or something from your childhood that stemmed from turbulent relationships, maybe a bit of a chaotic environment. Also, there's something perhaps for some of you about abandonment or rejection, perhaps that comes from a parental figure or a guardian or something, or someone who is very important to you or close to you, leaving your life in whatever way. And I feel as though for some of you, this may be a wound that perhaps came up during the month of February, especially with that Chiron and North Node meeting, that has perhaps cleared or has, come full circle. I did get that energy, so that's pretty fascinating. Yeah, it feels like, or, you could have experienced in your childhood or younger years, that kind of narcissistic, empathic dynamic, where, you felt as though your desires, your needs were not acknowledged or addressed. And perhaps, this is something that you've just kind of been doing over and over and over again, perhaps subconsciously or what have you, without any real awareness of it. And perhaps something clicked, and now this is very evident to you, right? Perhaps you're learning where that wound has stemmed from. Interesting. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. So first, right off the cuff, I'm drawn to the fact that you have divine orchestration and divine plan. I feel like for you, Aries, whatever this is, which certainly perhaps this has something to do with it, that Chiron conjunct North Node in Aries, right? That is in your sign. And so for you, I just feel like this was meant to happen, right? This epiphany, this triggering, this level up, or the opportunity at the very least for that, was part of divine plan. Things had to unfold the way that they did, so you would arrive at this point where you are now empowering yourself, where you are now acknowledging your needs, your desires, right? Where you are now moving from a place of truth and honesty and authenticity. Again, laying these foundations. And it's interesting that you have seeding the light, again, with that supermoon and luminosity. I feel as though this is, again, seeding your own light. It really is trying to bring you back into your power, really trying to bring you back to who you truly are, essentially to bring you home to yourself. And I feel as though, for those of you that resonate, this is just the beginning, right? This is really just laying the foundations for you to keep building upon that moving forward, right? Really continuing to heal and aligning with that higher calling, right? Aligning with your higher self, aligning with your purpose, aligning with your truth, your soul's true essence. For some of you, this inner child thing, perhaps it could be something to do with a grandmother figure. I mean, that's kind of, it's a little bit obvious with that card there, but I just feel like it may be possible. So how will this impact your journey moving forward? You have here law of creation. Focus your mind to create your deepest desires. Interesting. So on this card here, there's like a light at the end of the tunnel. And I feel like this is probably what it feels like for you. It probably feels, again, it feels like previously there was this kind of like, almost like trudging through the mud kind of feeling. And now I feel like there's, this renewed hope, this renewed faith, this looking for that light versus seeking out, let's say, the darkness or the struggle or the challenge, right? Just having more faith, being more positive. I feel as though, and moving forward again, it's interesting because I've said that so many times. Your whole reading is really quite fascinating. But there's this hyper awareness, right? This illumination to how things impact you, and understanding essentially you choose. You are a co-creator of your reality. And I feel like moving forward, you are likely to be far more an active participant in creating your reality, because I feel you, again, now understand how these environment situations, what you're engaging with, all of these sorts of things impact how you experience reality. And so now you may find yourself moving in this direction where you are creating the circumstances that most align with your desires. So for example, maybe your desire is just to feel good, just to feel happy, just to feel fulfilled, just to feel at peace, right? Comfortable, whatever it is. I feel like you're now kind of moving, or, moving forward at the very least, will be being far more intentional and moving in that way, right? Like acting accordingly. So if you found yourself, let's say, meeting this conflict and realizing that, how do I say this, you guys? Because it's not about avoiding conflict, okay? Conflicts are good ways for us to learn and can be catalysts for us, certainly. So it's not about avoiding conflict, but I do feel like if you find yourself in these situations where it's this constant conflict and upheaval and just negativity and all these sorts of things, I feel like you would find yourself saying, that's not for me, right? Because it's wanting to create the reality that you desire. Law of transmutation. Energize the mental picture of your dream. So there's a lot of energy here about essentially being the co-creator, being an active participant. This is a powerful place to be. It really, really is. Especially if you're like, yes, I am on board here. I'm like picking up all of these things, right? I feel like this is something that is the next step in your soul's evolution. That's what it feels like. Because you have focused your mind to create your deepest desire, energize the mental picture of your dream. Right? There's a lot of this energy coming through around you building, right? Essentially laying these foundations for what it is you want to experience, how you want to experience life, what you want it to feel like. So you may be, again, like heavily focused on this moving forward, where it is a priority for you. And again, I feel like if this reading has resonated with you, it's probably hasn't been that way before. I actually want to grab the Law of Transmutation, grab the guidebook and read for the Law of Transmutation here, just the message. So give me a second to find that. I feel like there might be something here for someone. Let's see, where are you? Page 35. I don't know why that number might be important for someone. That's not always the case for me when I go to look in books and things. So maybe you're 35, maybe your address is like 35, or 35 is important for you or something. Interesting. I just talked about an address. Wait till you hear the first part of this message. Transformation is knocking at your door. Your soul knows that this does not take place out in the world or by changing the circumstances of your life, but rather is an inside miracle. This alchemy is to take place within your consciousness. You are drawn to this card because you most likely have been energizing what you do not want instead of what you do want. You are ready to become a master of energy, directing it for good. The universe desires for you to hold the vision you want for your life within your mind with total conviction. There is no action to be taken until inspired action is revealed within your heart. Yeah, so again, there's that energy that I was already picking up on, right? About essentially, things taking place within you and adjusting accordingly. There's also the energy, right, of aligning with these things that you don't want to keep experiencing and realizing how, certain situations, circumstances, people, etc., really does influence your reality. You have here as well the law of allowing. Stop trying to fix, change, or control anyone. Yes, right? Yes, because there's the energy we were picking up on up here with, it is what it is. This is my boundary, this is who I am, this is my truth, and if that's not for you, okay, it is what it is. So I certainly feel like moving forward, this is probably going to be something that you adhere to more frequently, in all areas, many areas of your life, where it's just this is what it is for me, this is my truth. And this is not coming from a place of, I just want to make this very clear, of revenge or vindictiveness or being arrogant or egotistic or mean or anything like that, but rather just coming from a place of, listen, I can unconditionally love you from over here. I can I can do that. This is my truth, and if you do not like that, if you if you can't respect that, then I'm going to have to love you from over here, right? You have here as well, yeah, Vesta, inner spark, sacrifice, devotion. Absolutely. There's this new level of devotion to your inner spark, which I know that's pretty, that's a pretty literal translation of the energy, but that's what it feels like. It feels like I'm willing to sacrifice whatever people, situations, environments, etc., that do not align with what the plan I have in my own being, right? The blueprint that I am uncovering about myself. anything that's going to essentially try to put out my spark, trying to get me to dim my light, trying to get me to adhere to whatever ways or beliefs or, what have you. It feels as though there's this energy of I will, walk away from the things that just aren't good for me, the things that I do not align with. I do feel like also, not only I feel like are you willing to sacrifice, certain situations and people, etc., but I also feel like there's a realization that you have to sacrifice things about yourself, right? So, thought patterns, habits, belief systems, values, these sorts of things. I also feel like there's this real acknowledgement moving forward that the sacrifice doesn't only come from, letting certain people leave your life or moving or letting certain comforts, we'll say, go, but also, checking yourself, checking your own thought patterns, your own belief systems, right? What am I doing repeatedly that's not serving me, and sacrificing that, sacrificing, if you will, trauma and wounds. And by sacrifice, I just mean like releasing it, letting it go, right? Even if it makes you uncomfortable, even if, there's a fear with that, just letting things go. You have leap, you go first, the universe will catch you. Yeah, I mean, it's really fascinating because the reading is essentially saying this is a new beginning for you. Again, laying those foundations, right? So I feel moving forward, and there's the moon in the back, which she's not looking at, she's not acknowledging. So, I feel as though there's moving forward, there's this, yes, okay. So that bravery, that fearlessness, being the leader of your own life, being very independent, those beautiful Aries traits, I feel like those are coming to the forefront. And I feel like there potentially could be a lot of these leaps that are made because, again, there's a door open here. So it does feel to me almost like in the tarot, the Fool, right? And the Fool taking that leap of faith. And I feel like this is where it's at for you, or how you may be impacted by this moving forward, where you find that you have much more faith, trust in just leaping, right? Trusting those nudges, trusting your intuition. And yeah, you have starseed, what lights you up. Yeah, absolutely. Pursuing those things, right? Always kind of what's the word, like recalibrating your path. Anytime that you find that you're not in alignment with your truth, with who you really are, with your, the boundaries you've created, with what you feel is good for you, with the person that you, well, rather the person and the life that you want to create, that you want to experience, for yourself, I feel like there's this constant readjustment, really focusing on what lights you up. And I think it's incredibly synchronistic that you have inner spark and what lights you up. Because I feel like more and more this is going to be at the forefront. Again, because it's about putting yourself first. It's about making you a priority, pursuing your deepest desires. Incredible. The messages or advice that will best support and serve you, Aries, moving forward. Yeah, the law of non-attachment, let go, release, allow miracles. Like I was saying, it's pretty self-explanatory. But I love here that you have a key on this card because, again, there was that door at the beginning that was closed, right? Because this is the key. This is a big, yes, thank you. This is a key factor in this rebirth for you, in this new beginning for you, is letting go and releasing or sacrificing, as I was saying earlier, the things that are not serving you, the things that you do not believe in, the things that just feel icky to you, whether that's people, places, things, foods, it doesn't really matter. it feels as though, moving forward, this whole kind of independent energy or independent way of living is what is going to best serve you, right? Really, again, letting things go as they need to go. You have here as well the law of mentalism. Get clarity on your core values and commit to what matters. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, right? I feel like this is the direction that these messages are trying to lead you toward, if that makes sense, right? It really feels like moving forward, what's going to be best for you is to let go, release anything that is not in alignment with your values. But again, getting clear on your core values and committing to what matters to you requires you to constantly be going back within yourself, right? What lights you up? What are your deepest desires? What is your dream? And understanding that, just because people are in your life, right? Just because you love them and care for them does not mean that they're going to approve of that. It doesn't mean they're going to align with it. And it does not mean that those people have to stay in your life either. Many people come into our lives to teach us lessons, or, to teach us something, to be a catalyst for us in some way, shape, or form. And so, I feel as though, again, this is really, really, really about putting yourself first. Notice we talked about the mirror earlier and seeing your reflection differently. And here in this card, that person is holding what appears to be almost like a little mirror, right? Because it's about constantly checking back in with yourself. Am I being authentic? Am I being who I truly am? Is this what matters to me? And trusting, that God, source, universe, whatever you refer to it as, is going to align you with what is best for you, even if that means leaving certain situations, people, experiences behind. Appearance, first impression, mask. Yeah, the masks are coming off. I feel as though, a key message here for you as Aries is no more masks. No more masks. Right? I also feel like there's something here about trusting your gut when you are finding yourself in new company or in new environments, right? Really, really trusting your gut feeling, because things are not always what they seem. Take that how it resonates, but things are not always what they seem, right? Which I feel like it speaks to, certainly for many of us, and this is very general, but for many of us, that whole kind of, I think I found the one, this is my person, and, it ended up being someone who is just in your life for a period of time to teach you something, right? Because again, things are not always what they seem. And the new moon, so yes, so much moon energy for you. Creation, intention, potential. Yeah, this is I feel like all of this is to essentially align you with your true potential, right? The truth of who you are, what you're really doing here, your purpose, if you will. And I feel as though all of this is to put you in a position where you are intentional about what you are creating, the environment you're creating, the life you're building, if you will. Right? So again, it seems to me like the doors of opportunity are open for you. And again, it's about being intentional with what you are creating, because you are a co-creator. And every minute, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your emotions, okay, are creating your reality. So I do feel moving forward, again, it seems to me like this is probably going to be something that is much more important to you than what it has been in the past. And, you have creation here twice with law of creation, and again here on the moon card. So, I feel, again, there's this, that whole kind of energy of focusing on what it is you desire being reiterated. And you have cardinal, initiation, spark, and vision. Yeah, I do feel like this is in some ways an initiation for you, a level up, right? But again, it required for you in the month of February seeing that door and stepping through it, right? Taking that kind of leap of faith, even if, you kind of had to convince yourself to do it or be really uncomfortable or what have you. It just feels, now it's like the flame is burning now and you can't go back because you can't unsee what you've now seen, right? I feel like you're probably having new, I would say, it feels like new visions of what you want your life to look like coming in. And I do feel like for some of you, there's been a spark of, you know, um, passion for something, right? Some kind of idea, some kind of something you want to create or build. Maybe it's a business, maybe it's a community, right? Maybe it's just how you want to live your life. I feel like there's a real acknowledgement of the fear that comes with that, because it does feel like in some cases building from the ground up, or starting over. But it feels to me like there's been this passion ignited for something new. And again, your vision of your future probably has changed. Maybe you were like in finance and now all of a sudden you are wanting to, I don't know, be in some sort of humanitarian position or something. It just feels like there's this complete change in the vision you had for your life or the direction you thought it was going, whatever that means for you. And I feel like, staying along that path is the message that's coming through to support you. You have play, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. Yeah, I feel like this is reminding you that an aspect of self-care, an aspect of wellness, of replenishment is play. It is doing things that are fun. It's doing things that, again, let you up. It's doing things that feel good to you, that bring a smile to your face. And this can be anything. For some of you, I feel like this is really touching on that inner child. Maybe you grew up very fast. Um, for me, I had to grow up very fast, and now, I'm kind of in this place where, like, yes, I'm doing my adulting, but I'm also very playful. Like, I like to joke around, and I don't care if I look silly. Sometimes I like to color. Like, it really doesn't matter to me. It's just about doing whatever, feels good, and having fun doing that. Whatever it is for you. Maybe it's some kind of outdoor activity. Maybe it's coloring. Whatever it is, though, making sure that you're creating this balance between, being focused on your dream, or let's say the destination, not being hyper focused on that, but creating balance by also being playful or experiencing, things that are fun to you. And I also feel like there's a message here to celebrate the doors that you have unlocked. And for those that this is for, you will know exactly what that means. But it's like patting yourself on the back, right? Celebrating how far you've come. And trust the niggle. What is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? Yeah, so again, just more confirmation for you, moving forward, right? That advice to trust your gut, trust your intuition. And, in my membership channel, I say this all the time. If you have something come in, your intuition is that fast. It is that freaking fast. And if for some reason you are questioning that, take it back to God. Pray about it, meditate on it, however, whatever works for you, right? But, take it back. Ask for that confirmation. Is this really where I'm supposed to be going? Is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Or is this coming from, my trauma or my wounds or my programming? but trust yourself. This is going to help to empower you even further, right? Incredible reading for you. I feel like I would, if um I would love for this to be a reading for myself, right? I'm not an Aries, um, but this I feel like is a really powerful one, right? Even though it comes with its own challenges, certainly facing fears, really addressing some wounds and traumas and things like this. I feel as though, even with having to release things and to face certain things, I feel as though it's an incredibly empowering reading and certainly has opened a door to opportunity for you to experience life in a completely different way. Previously, maybe your life felt like it was in black and white, that it was kind of dull. And perhaps now you're in a position where there's a bit more color in the world. And maybe you're, again, seeing the world differently, moving differently, seeing yourself differently, and are appreciating or seeing the beauty in the world in a much different way than before, which is absolutely beautiful. So I want to thank you, Aries, for being here with me. It has been an absolute pleasure to be here with you. I pray that something here has blessed you in some way, shape, or form, been helpful or valuable as you navigate your journey, or helped you to understand some things or maybe get some confirmation. If it has, I would like to remind you to please like this video and or subscribe to the channel. If you have some things to share, I would love to hear about it in the comments below. Again, thank you so much for being here with me. Take care of your growing, evolving, beautiful, shining soul. Peace be with you and within you, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.